Well, good evening, and thank you very much for joining us tonight. It's a special day. We're having a conversation with the executive mayor of the Nelson Mandela Metro to talk to us about his recent trip to China to try and attract investors to come and invest in the Nelson Mandela Metro. We do know that investment issues are quite topical in South Africa at this point. The whole country is actually looking out for investors to come and invest money in South Africa. But the question is, do we have the correct and suitable climate for investors to come to South Africa? And what are investors saying to our leaders who continue to go out there to look for investors? What are their concerns? And that's the discussion that I'm going to be having with the mayor tonight. Mayor, thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to talk to you on your very important trip that you have had going to China. Tell us about it. How was that trip, and how did you find it?
Thank you very much, and also thank you to your listeners. I must be able to say that and confirm that yes, we did go to China. I led the delegation. That was myself, the acting city manager, and then we were joined later by the next day by MMC Lungisa of Infrastructure and Development. Right. So the trip was to seek for the investors to come and invest in the city. Right. Must be able to say that it was a very, very successful trip.
In which way would you say it was successful?
Well, our point of departure here, we are first, we are now in the fourth industrial revolution. Right. You'll find out that we are far backward as compared to other cities around the world. Mm-hmm. So we want to change our city and make it a smart city. I see. Because right now our children at our homes, they want to ensure that they are having the Wi-Fi. Mm-hmm. We want all our citizens to be connected to Wi-Fi. Mm-hmm. That will actually assist even our children at schools when they were doing their homeworks, and also our children at the university. Wi-Fi right now is something that the world is, is something that is moving around the world. Right. So we are changing our city to that system. I see. We are changing our city as a smart city because what we want, smart city will be dealing with the crime. Will be dealing also with the problems that we're having around the drains. We'll be dealing also around the roads. Right. Let me just tell you about the crime. Yes. In a smart city. When we arrive in Shenzhen, mm-hmm. in China, that's one of the smart cities. Yeah. There, that city is having more than 20 million population. One city. China is having a population of more than 1.2 billion residents. Yes. 500 million are the farmers. There was another city that is having 120 million residents. Now, South Africa, we are almost on 60 million, the whole country. So, but there's no crime in China. Mm-hmm. And why there's no crime in China? Is because of China is one of the world that is leading in technology and so on. Yeah. So in the smart city, what is happening is that the robots can be able to detect immediately if there is any problem. Let's say in Sweden, New Brighton, northern areas, those cameras can be able to take 200 people within a split second, and do the facial expression. They'll know exactly that this is Tammy Dixon. Mm. Where is he? What is he doing? Where is he going? Yeah. That's how the city is. So the police won't be able to even experience problems. The camera will tell you, no, he's here now. The police will just come and pick you up. There will be, some of these killings are being made because our people, they become witnesses in order for the matter to be approved in court. But in a smart city, the video doesn't lie. produce the video will say that, no, this is this, you have shot this person here, you have stolen here, and all those things. So that's what is important about the smart city.
Right.
Crime will be dealing with crime, and crime will be zero.
I see.
Yes. And in terms of job creations and whatever, we can be able to detect that within 24 hours, that particular drain is going to burst. So we send people there to fix the drain.
Wow.
There will be no more this thing of the drains and all those things. So smart city is the best, and is the one that China is the one that is leading it around the world. So our delegation was going there to learn about the smart city and ensure that we are changing our city to be the smart city, so that our people can be able to do business, and we can be able to revive our towns, our township, because we want our townships to be the same like wherever you are living.
What was the response of the Chinese to your visit there? Are they interested to come and invest here in the Nelson Mandela Metro?
Oh yes, no, definitely sure.
Yeah.
I was shocked at the reception that we received in China. Local government, we received a very, very fruitful reception, and they showed us everything, and the Chinese are ready to come and assist us. What's important in this particular thing of the smart city, as the municipality, we will never allow any country to capture us. So when the council agree, because remember that we are going to take this report to the council. Now when the council agrees that, listen here, we are in for it, we want the smart city to take place, we are going to to sign and make a private PPP, public-private partnership.
Yes.
Now, this is actually in accordance with the National Treasurer's regulations.
Okay.
Now, we want these people to leave us with skills. They will be, depending on the council, how the council view it. Now, we will make a PPP with them, and after that, they must be able to leave us with the skills. I mean, probably maybe said after 5 years or 10 years, we want you to train our people with the skills. That's why PPP is very, very important. So that these people can be able to say that right now you know the systems, you know the technology, so we are now leaving you after maybe 5 years, and then they leave, so that our people can carry on. We will not allow a situation whereby the Chinese will be sitting here forever. No, they must just come and leave the skills, and then they can be able to assist other cities.
Have you cut the deal already? Have you found the companies that will come and do the technology installations here in the city?
No. Okay. What is happening is that they will think we're going to take our proposal to the council, the entire trip. We're going to take it by the 31st of March to the council with recommendations. And as soon as the council agrees, then the supply chain processes will be able to kick off. But with regard to the company that is going to do the whole thing, no, not yet. There will be a competition. There will be competition on quite a number of companies.
Let's talk about security, because you raised this as an example that the smart city will be able to assist in actually resolving issues of security. Is that the problem you think we're having in the Nelson Mandela Metro in terms of crime and security?
Well, crime is all over the country.
Yeah.
It's something that we cannot run away from it. I must also correct the notion that at some point of time I said there's no crime here in Nelson Mandela Metro. No, I was referring it to December. In December, as of 16th of December last year, when we opened the festive season, there was not one incident that relates to all the activities that happens here during the festive season. So then I was outside, I was saying that our metro is the safest city.
No, I remember that incident. I was there, yes.
You were there, fortunately.
Yes,
yeah. But the other journalists say, no, the crime is something that, all of us are really, really taking it serious. It's one of the things that drives us. We have to deal with crime.
Yeah.
We cannot allow our city to be run by gangsters, by criminals. We must deal with crime. so that our residents can be able to feel safe in their places. So we are a government here. So it's one of the things that have actually drive us to go and say, listen here, we are working very closely with the law enforcement agencies, but you can be able to see that, you know, every day the crime is just escalating. So we had to bring that to an end, and I can assure you that is going to come to an end. We have seen it, and it's going to happen even here. As government, we will ensure that we are fighting the crime and the government rule the city. No criminals can be able to let our citizens sleep in fear, live in fear. So this is one of the things this government is actually is going to do with unapologetic. So
that's quite important, because it comes in the context of the killings that we have seen in the metro.
Yes.
You know, there's been a spate of very surprising and unprecedented killings in the metro. Yourself has been in the newspapers, you know, with some story of you with somebody with a gun and so on, so who came to your office, and these issues, they play in the minds of investors.
Yes.
Unfortunately, they look at these things and they wonder if really is this metro a safe place for us to be able to put in our money.
You're 100% right. It's one of the things that the investors are looking at. They are looking at crime, you know, so that when they invest their money, they don't throw their money by the sea, because once they put factories here, they don't want their products to be stolen and all those things. So we want to assure them that we are definitely working on the matter. And this particular matter, we are going to win the battle against this particular crime. I mean, of course, I can confirm that the incident you talk about, you know, it did happen to my office. But in fact, it's part of the wake-up call that Mr. Mayor, don't rest. You must be able to wake up and ensure that you are doing everything in order to fight the crime. So we can assure the investors that we are working onto it. You can come and invest. By the time you are going to produce your results in terms of the investment, Nelson Mandela Metro will be a zero crime, because we want to speed up the process of ensuring that we're rolling out the smart city.
Right. So you have beefed up security now around you and the office.
I don't want to talk about security matters.
Okay.
So but
at least it's safe to say it won't happen again.
Well, look, I'm the people's mayor,
yes.
So I won't be deterred in terms of communicating with my community, and I won't change.
Right.
And I won't change. And even the person that have done that, I'm sure he regrets now why he has actually done that. So I won't elaborate on the security matters.
That's fine. Now, let's talk about the investment climate in the Nelson Mandela Metro generally, outside of the security issues. What is it that investors, they may not necessarily be Chinese, but generally, what is it that investors are telling you as the mayor and the leadership in the Nelson Mandela about the constraints for them as investors to come here in the Nelson Mandela Metro? What is it that you need to fix for them to be able to invest money here?
Look, we had a meeting with all the stakeholders, business stakeholders.
Right.
We had meetings with the SMMEs. You can be able to see now we managed to actually bring stability on the SMMEs. You remember that there was toy almost on a daily basis when our predecessors were in charge. But right now, there's a stability in that particular area. We had a meeting with NAFCOC, and whereby we explained we want to listen to them, and we said to them, guys, how can you advise us in order to ensure that we are bringing the investors?
Yeah.
We had a meeting also with the business chamber, and a very, very fruitful meeting. And as a matter of fact, as I'm talking with you right now, we are busy going to do the one-stop shop for business people, so that all the investors that want to come can be able to come to that one-stop shop. You'll be able to see what is the Nelson Mandela Metro entails, and also what are the business opportunities that are there. And also that thing, the one-stop will be able to assist the investors cut off all the red tapes that we are having, so that when these people are having money, they must just come and just invest their money and cut all the red tapes. We want them to come. We can assure them red tapes. We It's a matter that we're dealing with.
Right. So is red tape the biggest issue that they are raising?
Yes, the red tape. Yes.
That
yes.
I would imagine that is with regards to the turnaround time, the bureaucracy. You know, it takes long for them to be able to approve the applications and so on.
Exactly.
Okay.
For instance, a person, this guy is having, 20 million. He wants to build a shopping center. Now you have to actually put your application in terms of the rezoning the area of land and all those things. So all that thing, it takes around about 2 years. By the time you want to build, the guy, he already left. He wanted to go and invest into another country.
Right.
So we're cutting out all those things.
Okay.
Shorten the process. There's a one-stop shop. Shorten the process. Cut out the red tape. All we want the guy to come and invest.
Right.
That's all.
Right. The other element which is quite popular among investors that they look at before they come and invest their money is the whole question of political stability. What would you say to them about the stability of the leadership or the municipality politically? Is it stable for investors to come?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
We are stable. We are a coalition government. That's what is nice about it. There's no winner here. There's no competition here. We are a coalition government, and we are stable. We are running the city well. We are not running away from any challenges. They mustn't worry about council business. When we are in a council, we find out that the opposition will try, its utmost best to stifle the business of the council. But that doesn't mean that the council meeting are not taking place. Council meeting are taking place. All the items are approved in the council meeting.
Right.
I mean, all over the world, you will find the members of parliament. Sometimes they even fight around the world.
Yeah.
So it's just exchange of the views and exchange of the topics and the agenda. So, but that doesn't mean that the economy is affected with what is happening in parliament. What is important is that on behalf of the residents, because we are not discussing our personal things, we discuss and take decisions of what our residents want. Right. Their interests are first into us. So that's the reason why, no matter what the opposition is doing, we must be able to carry on with the business of the council, approved all the items. So that doesn't mean that the administration is chaotic. We are stable. I'm in my office and I'm running the city. Each and every MMMC is also doing its work. Councillors and ward councillors are doing their work in their areas. So we are stable. There are no wars. If we're not stable, there will be wars, like other countries around in Africa, but we're stable politically.
Sure. But when the situation seems to be fluid and you don't know what could happen, each time there's a council meeting, there's a vote of no confidence against the mayor, and it creates a possibility that tomorrow this government could change, you could have another government. So that, in a sense, it creates some kind of uneasiness to somebody who's watching. This government is not going to finish this term. There's always that possibility that it could be changed.
No, this government will finish its term. And probably we are having plans even beyond our term. We are left now with 2 years. Next year is 2020, 2021, then our term comes to an end. So the motions of a vote of no confidence, look, anyone can be able to try luck and submit a motion of no confidence. But the fact of the matter is that as the coalition government, we are united. So it's a democracy for people to submit motions of a vote of no confidence. But I can assure you, nothing is going to happen. We're going to stay united for the next 2 years. What keeps us strong is the unity and concentrate on the plight of our residents. We're not worried about the motions. And also you and the listeners must not worry about the motions. What they must worry about, we want them to tell us what their government want. We're going to do it.
I see. Lastly, Mayor, let's look at the question of energy, the energy supply in a city like the Nelson Mandela Metro, which actually has huge multinational companies that are based here. What is it that investors are telling you about the energy supply in the Nelson Mandela Metro in the context of these cut-offs that we see sometimes in electricity?
Oh yes, it's really a concern to our investors and also to our business people that are around the city. For instance, Volkswagen. Volkswagen is having its own generator, power station, so that they can be able to ensure that once the load shedding stops, the manufacturing of the cars there, it's a huge loss. So our business people have already accommodated that themselves. Others, unfortunately, they cannot afford. But now we are having a plan as the government. We will be busy shortly with the waste to energy project. That project is coming within 6 months. That project will start. So we want to generate our own electricity, and so that we can be able to ensure that we don't experience the load shedding.
Okay.
Load shedding, unfortunately, we are having ESCOM, and ESCOM is running the monopoly so far. But as the city, we are making plans around the waste to energy, so that we can be able to generate our own supply of electricity to our citizens and also to the factories. However, also inviting the guys that can be able to come up with assistance to the city in terms of this load shedding. It is actually affecting us very, very badly, but we're not folding our arms. We want the engineers or electricians to come and advise us which way we can be able to ensure that we are protecting our investors, and we are protecting also our business people. But the waste to energy, so far, we are going to speed up that process, so that this thing of the load shedding can be a history to my city.
Yes. So lastly, in a nutshell, you're saying the people of the metro, they must look forward to see more investors coming from China?
Oh yes. It's going to present a lot of job opportunities. I mean, right now we also just launched an 11 billion project, Florida Heights, that is going to produce around about 10,000 new job opportunities. By March, I'll be going with my delegation. I'll be going to South Korea and looking there, bringing the shipbuilding here in the city. We are already negotiating with them, and going to Australia and Germany to look at the ocean economy. It's an untapped economy.
Yes.
And I was told also that there is oil here. In our city, there is oil here. And I was also told that, there's also gold deep in the sea. So these are the things that some people that are not talking, they are doing the research. So I was told that this city is really like an uncut diamond. We are inviting the investment and those that can be able to do the research, so that we can be able to ensure that the investors are coming, they invest their money. We can assure them that we will provide all the necessary tools that you require, as long as you are going to give our people jobs.
Mayor, thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mayor. Thank you. Well, that was the mayor of the Nelson Mandela Metro, Mr. Mongameli Bobani, talking to us about his recent trip to China, where he is on a campaign to try to attract investors to come to the Nelson Mandela Metro, to invest their money here, and also to be able to create jobs and cut down unemployment in our city. Only time will tell if all of these will be successful. With that, thank you very much and good night.